So we're back again in Way the Hunter, and unfortunately, I am still sick, which I probably didn't need to tell you. I'm sure you can hear that just fine. And despite that, I'm really excited for this video, but because I sound absolutely awful, and I promise I do feel better than I sound, we're going to try to keep this video fairly short. But as you guys know, if you watched the last video, we started working a little more with our herds down here in Diamond Drill, and we came to this herd, which actually had 2 4-star mule deer bucks. Now, in that herd, what we did was take out, I believe, a 2-star adult, and you might be able to see down there behind that tree. The respawn from that is really interesting. That right there is a melanistic mule deer, but not only that, unlike the first male mule deer we got, that's a 1-star young. And it's in a herd with 2 4-star matures, a herd that we've gotten 5-star from before, and I really just hope that maybe he has some solid genetics. I would love to have a chance at a really high-scoring melanistic mule deer buck. Now, we're not going to mess with that herd today, mostly because I don't want to end up shooting too many things in one area and drive them out. We did that with the whitetail herd down here, and they moved to another spot for a while, but they've kind of come back to where they typically are. And speaking of that herd, a certain 4-star mature that we've been watching has actually reached 5-star, which is what we expected. He was a 3-star adult at one time, but it's really cool to see another 5-star out of this herd. And frankly, we have shot a 5-star whitetail with the crossbow, so I think given the situation today, we're just going to take him with the 30-06. That will be our 3rd 5-star whitetail buck, and I'm really excited to see what else this herd produces, especially too as we have worked a little more with Diamond Drill. There's some more herds of whitetail we've encountered, and maybe we can start to do better than just this herd. So not exactly the best spot for a photo. In fact, it may be one of the worst that we've had. It just perfectly landed in all this brush, but let's take a look here. He was double long shot at 133 yards, a 96%. I can't remember how big our first was, but it was in that area. 486 score. I almost want to say our first was 487, but that is pretty cool. Our 3rd 5-star whitetail buck, and whitetail suddenly have been something that not only have we started to get better at with getting some 5-stars, we have that 3-star adult on public land that I want to go and check on next. And of course, we also met Showstopper, the albino whitetail buck down there on public land. I want to go and see how he's doing as well. Maybe shoot another buck from that herd, though I'm not sure that's when we want to worry about managing as much as, you know, not shooting too many things and making them move. So that's going to be our buck. And he's still a 3-star adult, which is what he was last time, but obviously, things have aged. I mean, we just shot that 5-star whitetail. So that actually gives me a little bit of hope for our albino. Maybe he actually has a shot to get to 5-star, because I was thinking he probably didn't have enough time as an adult to get to potential 3-star, because we'd like to see him get to a 3-star adult and then maybe have a chance to go to a 5-star mature. Maybe he does have a shot at it, but at least for now, we'll take that 1-star mature out. Then we probably have a couple of age cycles to go for that guy, but we know aging has happened. So there was another 4-star muley down in the southeast. I want to check on that, and then we'll go and look at Showstopper. And I did want to mention as well, because I had to move pretty quickly between spotting the melanistic and then shooting the 5-star, because we were getting to drink time. But I actually, it was kind of unintentional, but I really liked the name Showstopper for that albino buck. By the way, 28% in the same herd as a 3-star adult. Lots of range there, but I was thinking with that melanistic, and we'll take a closer look at him a little bit later on in the video. Again, I just wanted to move quickly and show that he was there. I think it'd be cool if we do a sort of community effort in trying to name him. So if you guys have a cool name for a melanistic mule deer buck, leave it in the comments below. I'll try to go through and pick the best ones out, and maybe what I'll do is put up a community poll with like a photo of him, the best 4 or 5 names, however many poll options I can do, and we'll let you guys vote on what his name's going to be. I really love the idea. I didn't even plan to do it with the albino, it just kind of worked, and I think that's going to be a fun thing, because especially with rares, we're going to end up keeping such a close eye on him. We'll get to know him pretty well, and I think putting a name to him, like what's often done in real life, is a cool thing. Now, it does appear as though our 4-star mule deer has apparently died of old age, which isn't a huge surprise. He was fairly gray, but I did think he had a chance. This actually isn't even the same herd. I checked the other herd first, and he wasn't there, so I thought, you know, there's a chance maybe they're in a different zone, but a completely separate herd of deer here. Now that's a 1-star mature that we can barely see. Wasn't sure if that was going to work, but that'll get him down. And at least we can kind of continue to work on some of these other herds down here in Diamond Drill. So, of the, what, 4-star deer that we saw in the last video, 1 made 5-star, 2 are still 4 stars in the mule deer in the herd with the Melanistic, and 1 died of old age. So, not too bad, depending on what the other 2 mule deer do. As for the one that we shot, which was somewhere right here, a 1-star mature is not something we see a lot in Diamond Drill, but he's still fairly brown. He's still 58%, so we might have hit, 2 or 3 star as a maximum, but at least we did a little bit of managing down here, checked on all of our potential 5 stars, and got one of them. I can't actually wait to put that in the lodge, but I do want to now go and look at Showstopper, which I think, based on where we encountered him last time, he should be not too far from this campsite. And pretty much just as expected, we're able to figure out where he's drinking at, and it's not too far from that campsite. And actually, it's really good to know exactly where he's going to be. I'd like to be able to get a little bit closer. I think they're going to end up going alert. We're 90 yards out now, but what's really encouraging is that he's now a 2-star adult, and I actually came down here and checked on him yesterday. That's when I found out there was the Melanistic and the whitetail was a 5-star, so I just couldn't age things any further, because the plan had been, while I was sick, to just kind of pass some time in Way the Hunter, get to a point where, maybe Showstopper gets to 3 or 4 stars. I don't expect him to get to 5, but being a 2-star adult, I believe at least gives him a shot at this stage. So it took a bit of adjusting. We had to go back to the campsite and come down the other way, but I just wanted to get the camera close to this guy, because looking at this, that was kind of neat. Looking at this, that's just like the perfect depiction of like a really promising 2-year-old, or maybe like a decently promising 3-year-old. I just love that rack, and if I didn't know he's got potential to be something better, I'd happily take him now. That's just a really great looking whitetail to me. But I think, despite like the really obvious uneven deer here, we're gonna leave this herd alone for now, and maybe we'll continue to work on managing it as Showstopper grows, but I do want to make sure that we don't overdo it and push them to another area. So at this point, I think we'll go back to the mule deer, take a look at him, because as I said, I want to do like a community effort to name him, and I actually think it'll be best, because we spooked the herd to shoot the 5-star whitetail. We might as well rest to evening and go to their feed time, because they should be in that same area. It took quite a lot of sneaking down here, but this is our 1-star young Melanistic mule deer. Now, this is the first time I've actually gotten the camera close to him, and he is unfortunately fairly uneven. Now, I don't know how big of a problem that is when they're really young, because I do think for a 1-star young, and this is like the very first age cycle he's popped up, so he's the minimum age. He actually is decent sized, so I don't know, maybe there's hope there, especially when there's deer like that in the herd, the one standing there behind him. So we'll see, but that guy directly behind the Melanistic was uneven. I don't know if we'll get a shot at him, because they did go alert. The wind is not good here, but maybe we can try to get whatever deer that was. I don't think it was that one. That's the Mela, so I'm gonna guess, I do think it's this one here, so just make sure we don't shoot the Melanistic. That'll do, and at least we can contribute to this herd. Unlike the one with the albino whitetail, that's not a place that I expect to get a bunch of future big bucks. As I said, we've taken a 5-star from this herd before, and I'd imagine we'll see some more, so we might as well actually focus a little bit more on managing that. As for the beginning of the hunt, by the way, when we didn't shoot anything, I did know that 5-star whitetail was potentially going to be right over there, so I did not want to potentially spook them. This guy was a 66.67%. As long as the Melanistic's better than that, I will be thrilled, but that's pretty much going to do it. We do have a 5-star whitetail to put back in the lodge, so we'll go and get that done. And actually, I'm kind of surprised, but our 5-star whitetail does fit here by the mantle without actually clipping through. So we had a 4-star here for the longest time, and when we put it there, it was so close to clipping, I thought a 5-star would, but it does actually fit. That's next to a 5-star muley, and then we have a 4-star over there that eventually we'll need to replace. But we're getting to a point now where we're probably going to be making some fairly significant changes to the lodge again. For instance, I'd like to do our Melanistic mule deer buck next to the doe here, and then as for the whitetail, and I don't know what he's going to turn into, but I do expect him to be decent at least, being at least a 2-star adult now. There's a multi-mount that you can do here, for 3 whitetail bucks. Maybe 2 5-stars and an albino there would look pretty cool, but I just can't wait to see what they turn into. And again, we have Showstopper for our albino and still unnamed for the Melanistic mule deer. So if you guys have a cool name suggestion, leave it in the comments below. I'll go through, make a poll, and we'll come up with a name for him. But on that note, that's going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.